These first images are some of my early photography, and I would make an explosion or a fireball out in the landscape, and that would be my art. After a while of doing these photographs, I'd have people come up to me and say, "You should go to Burning Man." So after hearing that for a couple of years, I went to Burning Man. It must have made an impact on me, because about a month and a half later, I started doing my own Burning Man art, I guess. This slide shows a sculpture that I made about 2 months after Burning Man. This is actually in Utah. The playa in Utah is much larger than the Black Rock playa, but the mud is different. It's a softer mud. You can drive on it when it is dry. So I built this sculpture out in the middle of nowhere. Then later we burned it. After the fire explosion photos, I was looking for a different shape for flame, which led me to the vortex. With the machine, it would create a vortex, but it turned out to be much more beautiful. It became something you just watch instead of a photographic subject. So after a couple of years of developing that, these two big fans came into my life. Thank you, Bruce. And I took them to Burning Man. And I had a hunch this thing would work, and so I built some walls and put the fans in, and I got inside with a proximity suit and big magic fire wand and made vortexes. These still are my favorite sequence of vortexes of all time. This is the start of my machine for 2003. Its intent was to make flaming vortexes, as well as one of the main inspirations or ideas that I wanted to do was to try to capture the base of a dust devil and move the base independently to the top. So that's what this machine was designed to do, as well as make the fire vortexes. I spent 4 or 5 months straight building this machine. Didn't have enough money to buy fans, and so I had to make and design my own fans. After working on it at the shipyard, I took it to Burning Man, and this is it at Burning Man. So the whole thing was mounted to the truck, to a rental truck. Bruce has helped me a tremendous amount over the years. Here he is advising me on how to attach a frame to the rental truck. Needed to push it around somehow, so I stretched the level of my agreement with the rental company and bolted the special frame to the frame of the truck, and then drove this thing around the desert with the truck. Anyway, we got the truck back. No harm done. There's been several people that would help me. This one's Bob. He has an affinity for fire and an understanding of fire that's quite amazing. He's an engineer. This is David. David works for NASA, and he's also been a major help as well. Both of them, they also make the large vortexes in the suit with me. Of course, all the work at Burning Man. There's the dust storms. That's one with Cherie and her sequined evening dress. She was a great help too. We put blue lights on the fans so that people didn't run into them at night. this year I brought the same machine back, but we kept it stationary, and the machine got so hot that it melted the copper on my pilot light. You use stainless steel to keep it from melting because stainless steel has a high melting temperature. So this whole entire section is stainless steel. This is at the Fire Arts Festival in Oakland, put on by the Crucible. We were about 30 feet away from the BART track, and so that BART would go by, which is the Bay Area Rapid Transit in San Francisco, and so they'd go by and get a show. This is a little project in what I call the tank. This is one of my favorite spots somewhere in southern Utah. I wanted to see what would happen if you shot a bullet all the way around it, and I thought it would just continue and see. I just wanted to see what it would do as the bullet went around the inside. So I made a little extra. I made a little holder for the gun made out of magnets and Bondo. The bullet went around. After one revolution, it started to tumble, and we couldn't find them, so I didn't know exactly where they landed. This is another technique where you saturate sand with naphtha, and it just makes beautiful fire when you can pour it out on the ground. I was not the first to do this. This is creating ring vortexes. Massive flame you shoot into the air, and the buoyancy will create a ring vortex that'll go up there 100, 200, 300 feet. With my setup, I was able to do it in rapid succession, so we could get multiple ring vortices in the air. As they decay and rip apart, it's really fascinating to watch that happen. Oftentimes, people will want to help or chip in or participate, and so this is me showing Brooke how to make her first large fire blast. She made good ring vortices too. She's better than me. Burning Man, for years people would take a big hunk of steel wool and put it in a basket and light it on fire and spin it around their heads, and it would make this gorgeous stream of sparks that came out. And so last year I decided to try it, and then I was in the shop one day and walked past a bucket of aluminum shavings, and the two connected in my head. I thought, that would work. So we made fire spinners with aluminum foil and steel wool. It's all available at Home Depot and Safeway. Anyway, I didn't tell you that though. Okay. In Utah, there's this particular place that fills up with water, and you can drive out onto it, and it's just like a flat, glassy mirror for everywhere, for miles and miles. And you need to go out and test this tank It's a beautiful fire.